Coming up on 6:30 this morning on Up with KREM, new ICE guidelines may force international students to leave the U.S. if they're taking classes entirely online. This morning we are joined by an immigration lawyer sharing more on how this change is impacting students and universities. Also, we look back at months of Washington's COVID-19 policies to see how they've made an impact so far. A closer look by the numbers.
And a dry day expected around the inland northwest. We'll talk about warm temperatures expected as we head through the weekend.
Up with KREM begins now.
Here's an N95. These are made to block particles in the medical environment and when you're out mowing the lawn. This one's not sterilized, but it's pretty effective. So the reason we want you to wear a mask.
Well, good morning, and thanks so much for watching Up with KREM. We've made it to Friday morning. Well, Washington native and renowned scientist Bill Nye is giving us a mask lesson. He made this TikTok video to show how and why they work. But coming up, we're going to take a look at our numbers to see if the mask mandate and other safety policies are working. Well, thanks so much for being with us again here on our Friday morning. Joshua, gearing up for possibly our first 90-degree day of the year so far.
That's right. And by the way, can I mention real quick that some of the things that I loved about Bill Nye growing up as a kid are those sound effects and the graphics. So I love seeing that he has folded them into a TikTok video as well. But yeah, of course, weather is important to talk about today as well, Jen.
Absolutely. So for more on that, let's bring in Evan Irani. I know he's been watching this forecast closely. A lot of people looking to get outside this weekend. We're finally feeling like summer, Evan.
That's right. It is a late start for sure. I remember watching Bill Nye videos on VHS in my classroom where they'd have to wheel in a huge TV and you'd throw in the VHS and watch it. Now kids are watching it on TikTok. So I'm glad he's adjusted to his audience and he knows how to attract them properly. Let's take a look at that forecast. As you guys mentioned, boy, it is going to be a warm day tomorrow. Today's going to be in the upper 70s and low 80s, so we'll be just around average. Average for this time of year would be 82 degrees, so maybe just a few degrees shy of average, but it's going to be a sunny day, a dry day, and a warm day today and tomorrow. So I want to give you a little peek at that weekend forecast. 90 is that forecast high on Saturday. If we get there, it will be the first 90-degree day of 2020. The warmest we've gotten so far is 88 degrees, so we could really see some warmth come our way. A dramatic cool down comes from Saturday into Sunday. We go down to the mid and upper 70s. Looks like some breezy winds are going to be ushered in as well. So keep in mind fire danger will be high as we head into Saturday night and Sunday morning and afternoon. So we'll keep tabs on all that. In just a few minutes, we'll talk in more detail about what all of this looks like, including whether or not it will last through the beginning of next week. It's all in just a few minutes. Jen, I'll send things back over to you. Let's take a look at traffic first. Going outside, things are calm. Doesn't look like those roads are seeing any backups or delays. We'll let you know if we see anything. Jen, over to you.
All right, Evan, thank you. Looking forward to your extended forecast this morning. Meanwhile, a search will resume this morning for former Glee star Naya Rivera. Now, authorities say she is presumed drowned on a lake in Southern California. New security footage shows her boarding a pontoon boat Wednesday with her 4-year-old son. The boy was later found alone on that boat. Investigators say no foul play is expected.
6:33 this morning. 4 months ago today, Washington State reported its first double-digit number of new COVID-19 cases. And the situation across the state obviously much different today. Thousands of new cases have been reported, hundreds of deaths, and dozens of new policy changes since that day. So this morning we're asking, can we see a noticeable impact from those policy changes by the numbers? We're going to use data today from the State Department of Health, and I'm going to pick a very few important policy dates that we've seen in Washington. And then with those dates, we're going to separate the data with different colors to show the before and the after each of those dates. So we start with Monday, March 23rd. That's the day Governor Inslee announced the stay home, stay healthy order. Now, as we look at this data, COVID-19 tests take a few weeks at the longest before they come back positive or negative. So we have to look a few weeks after each of these dates, including the day that that order was first initiated. So if we look, we do see there is a big drop in the positive daily numbers out of basically the whole state. The numbers are cut from about the 400 range to the 200s range. We're going to jump ahead now a little bit to May 6th. This is the day that Governor Inslee issued new guidance for sales and services in part of phase 1 of the state of reopening. You might remember that that phase had very few changes. It was still very limited. It eased restrictions on essential travel, essential businesses, some construction, car washes, things like that, curbside retail services. And in the weeks that followed, basically, we saw that the numbers kind of stayed low. You don't really see any major rises or falls. Even they did drop a little bit on average. And several Washington counties, by the way, used that time to successfully push into phase 2, but some counties like Spokane County could not. So let's jump ahead just a little bit. May 19th. This is the day Governor Jay Inslee offered new guidance for counties to enter phase 2, opening the door for Spokane County to apply successfully and make its way into phase 2 just 3 days later. So this is also days before Memorial Day weekend. And so we've seen the numbers kind of stay pretty level up to this point. But we can also watch that as counties gradually entered phase 2, that average number starts to go up and up and up. Over the next few weeks, Governor Inslee would continue issuing new guidelines for different services to open up, libraries, drive-in theaters, sports, and then on this day, June 9th, guidance for recreational activities, nannies, house cleaners, cooks, basically opening the doors of our homes that the governor had months earlier ordered to stay shut. We all at that point on this day were looking towards phase 3. Instead, what we saw was the cases continuing to rise week after week after week, which leads us to our present state as the numbers have continued going up. Today, we're about 3 weeks separated from Father's Day weekend. We're about 2 weeks separated from the new state mask mandate going into place, and we're less than a week away from 4th of July and that new requirement for businesses to refuse service to anyone not wearing a mask. So as we look at this data, my point is this. We have a mixed bag right now of events that are both causing a rise in the potential for cases and measures being taken to stop those rises from happening. Not only does this data show us this, but health officials have told us it could be weeks before we see these new policies right now actually make an impact. We can see it's happened already. So as new cases are reported today, tomorrow, next week, it is important to keep our eyes focused on that long run to look for the noticeable changes that the new mask policy could have here in the state.
Thank you so much, Joshua, for that update. Well, trending this morning is a battle in the music industry. The country music band formerly known as Lady Antebellum has changed their name to Lady A. You can even see it changed here on their social media. Now, the band made the announcement on Twitter last month in an effort to be inclusive, saying in this post, they are regretful for not taking into consideration the word antebellum's association with slavery. Now, they claim Lady A is a nickname fans gave them from the beginning. Now, although fitting, the Seattle jazz singer Anita White also goes by the name Lady A and is speaking out. Now, in an interview with our sister station in Seattle, White said, "You go on Amazon, you can see me on Spotify, you can see me there. They didn't reach out to me, they didn't say something to me at least before making this decision." Now take a look at this tweet from the country band Lady A on June 15th. This shows a conversation that they had with that singer from Seattle. They said that conversation was transparent, honest, and authentic. Definitely looks like they got everything worked out until yesterday. The country band announced they are suing White. Now, Lady A says White and her team demanded a $10 million payment, so they're taking her to court to affirm their right to continue using the name Lady A. That's a trademark they've held since 2011. Now, according to the lawsuit, their use of the trademark Lady A does not infringe on White's alleged trademark rights of her name. The band is not seeking any monetary damages and also says she can still perform under the name Lady A. They don't want to take that away from her. Now, for any updates on this story, make sure to check out on KREM.com, but I'll continue to follow this as well. 6:38 now. I'll send it over to you, Jen.
Yeah, very interesting story, Dana Marie. Not the best move when you change your name to support Black Lives Matter and then turn around and sue a black artist who already has the name you want. So I guess we'll have to wait and see how that story shakes out this morning.
Yeah, a lot of frustration coming from her side, and understandably so.
Absolutely. All right, Dana Marie, thank you so much. Well, still to come here on Up with KREM, visas for thousands of international student visas could be up in jeopardy. Now, they could be revoked if they only take online classes. In the next 10 minutes, we'll talk to an immigration lawyer to learn more about how this is impacting students and universities.
And outside, cloudy skies. Look at that. Pretty incredible sight. We'll talk about what's in store for the rest of your weekend coming up after the break.